We live in a world that's all about sharing. Every moment, every goal, every little thought, it feels like we're supposed to put it all out there. But what if the real secret to a calmer, more stable life isn't about sharing more, but sharing smarter? Well, psychology has some pretty interesting things to say about the power of keeping certain parts of our story just for ourselves.
And this really gets to the heart of it. There's a huge difference between being open, which is how we connect with people, and being exposed, which just leaves you feeling drained and, well, judged. It's a really fine line, right? But learning to see that line is everything.
And that leads us to a key habit of people who are really emotionally grounded. It's not about being secretive or building walls, not at all. It's about strategic self-protection. It's about knowing what to share and what to hold close to protect your own peace of mind.
Okay, so let's dive into our first big area of strategic privacy, your future ambitions. You know the old advice, right? Declare your goals to the world. It'll keep you accountable. But actually, psychology suggests that your next big move might be much more powerful if you keep it quiet, at least at the beginning.
Just think about it for a second. The moment you announce a huge plan, I'm going to start a business, or I'm training for a marathon, you suddenly have an audience. And with that audience comes opinions, doubts, and a whole lot of questions before you've even taken the first step. This quote really nails it. Let your actions do the talking. Then you can share the story.
And what's so cool is that there's actually a name for this phenomenon, social interference. It's when all that outside noise, people's doubts, their comparisons, starts to mess with your own internal drive before you've had a chance to build any real momentum. And sometimes it's not even malicious. Your big goals can make other people feel insecure, so they project that onto you. Protecting your ambition from all that is just smart.
Next up, let's talk about guarding your inner world. This covers our second and third points, your deepest, most vulnerable emotions, and your finances. Both of these are incredibly personal, and sharing them really requires a whole lot of trust.
So first, your emotions. Look, sharing our struggles is vital, but who you share with is everything. The hard truth is, not everyone has the emotional capacity to handle your vulnerability with real care. Sometimes what you get back is just curiosity, and that can easily curdle into gossip. Your story deserves a safe audience, not just a curious one.
And the same rule applies to money, which is our third point. Man, is this one a minefield. It doesn't matter if you have a lot or a little. Talking about the specifics can instantly make things weird. Suddenly, it invites judgment, it creates these strange expectations, it sparks jealousy and comparison, and it can even lead to resentment. It just complicates relationships. And you can really see the effect right here. Once those financial details are out in the open, things like judgment and expectations just shoot up. So keeping quiet about your finances isn't about being shady. It's about protecting the balance and simplicity of your relationships.
Okay, moving on to points 4 and 5, which are all about managing our relationships. Let's get into why keeping personal conflicts and family issues private is often the absolute best thing you can do for everyone involved. I really love this breakdown of what happens. They call it the conflict multiplier effect. You start by sharing a problem with someone, right? But then they add their own opinions and their own baggage to it. Before you know it, the original issue has gotten 10 times bigger emotionally. And guess who's left carrying all that extra weight? You are.
This is a big one, especially with family stuff. You hold the entire complex history of your family, all the nuance, all the context. But an outsider, they only ever see a tiny piece of the story. And when you share that piece, you're inviting judgment based on an incomplete picture, which almost never helps. Some things just need to stay in the family.
All right, our sixth point is a really fascinating one. It's about kindness. Specifically, the huge difference between doing good when everyone's watching versus doing good just for the sake of it.
And here's the psychology behind it, which is so cool. When you perform a kind act and post about it, you get that instant reward, likes, praise, recognition. It feels good, and it builds your image. But quiet kindness, when nobody's looking, that's different. The reward is internal. It strengthens your core values. It builds your character.
And that brings us to our seventh and final point. And honestly, this one kind of ties everything else together. It's about protecting your future self. The person you're still in the process of becoming.
Look at the difference here. On the one hand, you can declare who you're going to be. The new me is going to do this and that. It just creates a ton of pressure without any proof. But on the other hand, you have action,
quietly doing the work day in and day out. Real identity isn't announced, it's built piece by piece. It's so much more powerful to become that new person first and then let the world meet them.
So, when you pull it all together, what are we really talking about? It's not about hiding. It's about something much more powerful: strategic privacy. It's the simple, conscious act of protecting your energy and your focus from all the outside noise, the opinions, the comparisons, the drama that doesn't help you grow. It's about deciding who gets a front row seat to your story.
And so, I'll just leave you with this question to think about. Not every chapter of our lives needs an audience. Some are meant for us to be lived and learned from in private until we're ready. So what part of your story is calling out for that quiet space?